sacred, even if you don't think it is, even if it really isn't.
Demons inherent.
Are demons inherited? What was the second one? But the one that from the guy on the... People
Solomon,
are only...
Dr. Solomon Cohen.
Okay.
I love him.
So I'm going to refer that to you. I'm going to say, listen, we've got a question from a doctor.
I think she's recording. She's on.
Oh, yeah,
We're
okay.
on.
Well, that's fine.
Uncut.
It is uncut. You know what's going to happen? Some people are going to say, maybe you should cut some stuff out. No, I'm teasing. Questions. Now, one of the things we do ask people on a regular basis is please to send us questions, because we genuinely do want to, number one, go in the direction that you want to go as well. This is not just about what we think and what we feel.
It's not all about Duane.
No. Sadly.
It's all about answering your questions.
No, but no, that doesn't seem...
It doesn't seem fair now.
That doesn't seem fair.
Anymore. Anyway, so I did call him a coffee addict.
A coffee addict. So
I'm having mine hot because it's the second time I'm having it.
You know, but the thing is that you call me a coffee addict, but only because you drink about 11 little ones and I drink 6 big ones, and I'm the addict. I'm the addict.
Takes one to recognize
it. It does indeed.
Right, good coffee.
So here we go. Questions. Let's start with the one that you brought up, because Dr. Solomon sent in, wasn't so much a question, more a statement.
Right.
But why we need to talk about something that I think is very prevalent in the world today.
Agreed.
And it really is how we constantly judge people by what we see and not the content.
By the cover of the book.
Why do we do this? Why do we do that?
I don't know.
Is it something we can stop doing?
No, it comes from you. It's how you connect with the person.
Sure.
So so if I don't want to go in and talk to somebody, I'll go in and just go, hello, how are you? And then I'm gone.
Just stop right there before you continue. Why? How do you make that decision right in that moment to say, I'm not going to talk to this person?
So not that I'm not going to talk to them. So it might be a lot of different things.
Okay.
One, time. Second, I was busy actually talking to somebody else.
Okay.
3, I'm not getting the vibe. I don't feel the connection.
Yep.
And there's something there, and I just want to move it for Vanda, and probably out of habit.
I know my answer to this question. Is it okay if you walk into a space, now we're not answering the doctor's question just yet, but we will. If you move into a situation, you walk into somebody's space and you don't feel it.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't feel the vibe. There's a vibe here.
Oh, yeah, there's a vibe there.
I don't want to be part of this. To walk away.
Yeah, but you have to grow
right?
up now. You have to grow up now, because are you walking away from the person, or are you walking away with what's around the person? Those are very different questions.
But it really does also hark back to what Doctor was saying, because you make a decision in that moment. I'm not feeling it.
Well, people are also not. We're not brought up to listen to our intuition.
Okay.
We're brought up to react to our thoughts. You know, we're not brought up to listen.
Okay.
We are brought up to react.
It's like that saying where people...
Isn't that the fact?
Oh, no, absolutely, I do.
Yeah.
Because there's a very clear distinction between people who listen to respond and people who listen to understand. There are two very different kinds of people. Right. And very often people...
also determines who you're speaking to.
My point exactly. Sometimes and I think, again, it goes to that presumption that person might have, because you read the cover,
right? You
presume that person's got nothing to tell you, so you just listen to react. And your reaction might be to walk away.
Yeah, and sometimes that's a big mistake, because what's every person has their own book inside. They carry their own wisdoms. It's like a country sharing its true riches with another country, right? So every person, I learned this the hard way, because I'm very, very inclusive, and I want everybody to feel good around all that. And I told you about that, right? You and I have that same...
Oh, we do.
We have that same thing.
Definitely. Definitely.
So often we dim the lights.
Squirrel.
He's listening.
Shiny things. Carry on.
He's listening.
Inclusive.
So being inclusive. So what happens is there's only one of you, right? And you're never, ever going to be this person ever again. There's only one Vanda, where Vanda used to kind of break it up, separate it, divide it, and share it, and all of that. That doesn't work because there's only one of me. And I used to be like, no, but you're also like this, or you're also like that, or we're all the same. No, we're not.
No.
There's only one of us. That's it. There's only one of us. And people are not honoring that. They are dismissing that. And I can get it because I dismissed that most of my life.
Okay.
So we all come to learn and grow and evolve. As long as we are evolving, yesterday was gold. Mm-hmm. But very few of us are like very, very present. So we are cutthroat right now to be answering Dr. Solomon's question. How do you get the time to read somebody's content? You don't have the time to read somebody's content. You have to be tuned into your higher self, and you've got to be tuned into your intuition, and you've got to be connected and tuned in and giving of that space so that you're able to receive it. So I see people like sitting with people and they don't even know who they're sitting next to. That gold is right. That gold is right there. So it's all got to do with you, your focus, your intention. What do you want? Quality versus quantity. It's as we grow and evolve, we change.
As we do, and that's the beautiful part about this incredible thing that we call life.
My coffee's going to get cold.
Constantly, again, the 6th cup. 6. It could be more actually, but I'm being nice. I am jealous because I've just finished mine.
I had the courage to bring my coffee into the podcast. He didn't.
I didn't.
He wants to look good for you.
It wasn't about that. I wish it was about that because I don't want to go over double digits with my coffee intake. You said there that we don't have the time. You said something right at the beginning of that. We don't have the time.
So time is of an essence.
That's true. But so are you saying we need to make time? We need to find time. If our intuition
if you don't have the time, you can't make the time. You're not in the habit.
No. Yes, I know. But what he was saying is, what Doctor was saying is that we need to look past the cover. So what do we do with that particular person when we say, we meet somebody and you go, I dismissed that person. I shouldn't have done that, but I don't have the time now. Do you
then make an effort.
Yes. That's my question. Do we seek that person out? Do we say to that person, I really would like to know what you've got to talk about, what you've got to say, what you've got to give. I haven't got time to do it now. Next time I see you, what do we do? Do we make it as purposeful as that, or we just make sure next time?
It's a dance.
Okay.
Now, if you're dancing with Tamsin, you'll know his wife is a beautiful ballroom dancer.
She dances, I watch.
Yeah. You have to dance with her.
Amazing.
So it's like a dance, right? So that dance there is you and the person. It's not just the person. If you're reacting to the person, it's your dance too, right? So it's how you're acting out and what you're wanting from that person or not, right? So the only person that's going to miss out on the content of that person or that relationship is you, no one else. You're the one that knows how that person feels to you. Either that person annoys the person. But think about it. Who wants to be in an environment where there's just gossiping, negative charges? It's always complaining. There's nothing positive. You know when you are on those environments, those lunches, those networks, those parties, there you go.
Get away. Run.
Get me out of here. And then think about it. You said yes to be part of it. So did you have the courage to interrupt it and bring something good to the table, or were you just part of the banter?
That's a very, very nice thing to do, though, I think.
Nice.
No, it is. And Tamsin hates that word, too. But that... To have the self-awareness,
spiritual responsibility.
To have the self-awareness in that moment, to know that you can bring something good to that, even if it is a negative space or what you perceive to be a negative space, then to bring your positive energy into that space. That's a good thing to do, and we should all be doing more of that. And I think in that particular situation where we read that cover, we should catch ourselves doing that, and then go, I would love to find out more about this person.
But maybe you don't.
No, I'm saying no, that's really what I'm trying to say. If in that moment you go, I'd love to know more about this person, so I'm going to make time. Or, like I said in the beginning, maybe I see the cover of the book and go, this book doesn't appeal to me at all. I'm never going to find out what's inside.
But here's also, if we go take it a little bit to another realm of existence, relationships they require work.
Yes.
So I've got a full book of best friends and friends. Truthfully, so if I look at my time, I don't have time for another friend.
Okay, got you.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That is the wholesome truth. I don't have time for another friend. Why? Because of the way I play. I'm all in.
Okay.
You know, I'm that friend who wants to be a good friend. I'm the friend that goes, we want to do something, we're going da, all of that.
Okay.
However, you know when you meet somebody. You just know.
Yes, you do.
You just got that kinetic energy and you get charged up and you remember.
You do.
The problem comes when you start having to act out, okay, to the friends that you've got. And then you start dimming out who you are so that you're fitting into what your Rolodex has already asked of you. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely.
So I think that we all need to prune ourselves from who we have been so that we are more present in the future to give these relationships that have got such a positive charge because they bring good stuff to who you are. Maybe they're the answers of dreams that are still floating out there, goals that you've missed your arrows to. I mean, just a lot of different things. Missed opportunities. We said we were going to speak about that. That's a missed opportunity.
Wow, it is such a missed opportunity. I agree with you completely.
Answering questions has just answered our little tag.
Our own question. Just to finish up, though, with the doctor's question. Because he was saying we very often just look at the cover, we don't read the book, we don't go into the content.
Yeah, but those days are going.
That's what I was going to say. So that's really the answer to it, isn't it?
The covers are not pretty anymore.
But that's what I'm saying. Absolutely. But I'm also saying, as far as answering that question, it's sometimes okay to do exactly that. It is sometimes.
To move away?
Yeah, it is sometimes. Because the doctor was saying we need to spend more time. I think what I got out of the question.
Yeah, if the content
is something fits your narrative,
if it's in alignment, if it's in alignment.
Yes. Okay.
So I see so many, especially in girls have a tendency more to do this than the boys.
Yes.
Right? Where girls have a tendency to just go, oh, you know what? I just want to be accepted. I want to fit in. Right? Where so you start acclimating to information or a dress you've never worn and would never wear, right? And all of a sudden you feel like, okay, if I don't wear this, I'm not in, I don't look the part, I don't do this, and if I don't speak like this, or I don't, you know, those are all growing up phases. So, and then sooner or later you go, you know what, I'm not happy anymore, I've got to shake this off. You know what, that dress wasn't me in the first place.
Yeah.
But you had to go through that dress phase to realize this actually doesn't fit when you knew it didn't fit in the first place. It was just something that you were able to do. On the brighter side of things, isn't it great that we can do that? I don't see a lot of people moving out of it.
I don't see it either.
Right.
I really don't. And I think it's got so much to do with that energy thing we were talking about.
Right.
That immediate transfer or lack thereof.
There's always a transfer.
Yes.
And people are uncomfortable, go, oh, like you ran out of here just now?
Yeah, absolutely.
When you didn't want to speak about demons?
Well, yes.
He was like,
no thanks.
I
left. I was out. Not today, Josephine. What I was going to say, though, is I've been told all my life. I forget who told it to me, but I remember thinking, I'm going to keep that, and I'm going to remember that, and I'm going to do it. When you meet somebody who takes your energy, who's trying to steal from you, energy-wise.
They can't.
No.
But it's the way you feel about it.
Yes, exactly that.
Yeah.
When I feel like every time I leave that person's presence, I feel heavy. And they've like, what's happened? And there are people around us that do that to us.
Yes.
So my advice that I was given, the advice I was given was, do not walk away from those people. Do not. Run. Run from those people. Do not walk. Run. Get away as quickly as you possibly can, because that's the truth. And it served me so well.
There we go.
You know, when you walk into a situation and I go, and I'm not even there yet. But energy-wise, I go, no.
So energy-wise, it's because we are all, you know, people go like this. Oh my God, you're psychic, you channel, yeah, we all are. So my focus is just different, I guess, because we all are different. Everyone is empathic. You are going to feel it, and you're going to translate it in whichever way you have the ability to translate it in. And so what I would say is that people's transmitters are cross-wired.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
If I were to share something today with you, become a better, clearer translator of energy for you, not for the other person. Everybody wants to kind of like be the guru, be the coach, be the spiritual advisor, be all of that. It's a big weight on your shoulders, because when there is an agreement, there's an agreement, and people are ignoring their agreements. So that's a big thing that people ignore. So when you read somebody and you feel that way, honor yourself as best as you can, and then do better so that you're able to be in the midst of that space without you being impacted.
I'm taking that from these conversations probably more than anything else. Honor yourself in that given situation. Honor yourself in that decision. Honor yourself in that thought process. Honor yourself. Honor your true self when you meet somebody, when you talk to somebody, when you do something, when you plan something.
Right.
And it does.
It takes you rolling up your sleeves and
doing some work.
And doing some work. It just takes that, because sometimes the dance is very, very rugged. And you have to be, in the midst of the chaos, you have to be able to listen to those raindrops. You have to be listening to what's your pulse. What's that space with you that, wait a minute, there is something here for me. And then also recognizing, wait a minute, there is nothing here for me. You know, where I see people sitting in situations that there's nothing there for them, and compulsive. Compulsive.
Yeah.
Compulsive spaces and false delusional addictions.
It's also very interesting how we've suddenly gone back right to the first episode when we were talking about, because you were talking about it again now. In the midst of the chaos, it's so important to listen to the raindrops.
Yeah.
And that's what we were saying. Remember when I was saying to you, there's so much noise. I want to make the noise quiet. Well, you can't do that.
And it's going to get louder and louder and louder. Your ability.
That's it. And I've learned so much out of that.
Yeah, your ability to tune in, and your ability to breathe, and your ability to interrupt what no longer is serving you, especially you, is...
That's the thing. To hear the raindrops. To hear the raindrops.
The most important
thing. And I think silently they're all going to have that ding-dong playing in their head right now when you hear that. Ding. Because it's so important, though, because the noise is not going anywhere. The world's not going anywhere. We have to...
No, the world is definitely changing.
No, but I'm saying that noise is always going to be there. We need to be...
The noises are changing. What you think was noise... what you think was noise, now it's going to be super loud. Or very, very silent, but it's loud. There's an interplay.
You've said that a couple of times, and I think it's something I really would like to, just going forward, you've said we're in that space of awakening.
This is the awakening age.
I know we're trying to focus on the questions in this particular episode, but that's something that's very, very, very interesting to me, because I see it. I think I see what I see.
Everyone does.
Yeah, but I'd love to talk about that, though.
Okay.
Just the real awakening. So I'd love to talk about that. But the questions for now.
Submit your question.
I will. I'm going to type, just like you, I'm going to submit my question and hope Duane reads it.
This is just questions and answers. Don't get interjected.
Actually, Duane won't read it. Dana reads it because Duane's scared of the questions. Right. No, I'm joking. Having said all of that, now that's the doctor. The second question that we got was about sacred things. And respect for sacred things, or respect for what we think is a sacred thing. Are people, I should have read it straight out. The question was, or the statement was...
He doesn't know the question.
No, you know what it is? Because I think it's got so much to do with the way I phrase it, whether it comes right. I want to pay tribute to the original question.
Okay, so there you go. You've just answered the question.
Is it okay to treat something that is sacred? Are we treating things the way we need to? Sacred things, are we treating them the way we need to?
That's not the question.
But that's exactly what he said.
No.
What was the question?
You see?
No, remind me, because I'm now confusing myself.
You've just answered it.
Go on.
So, the question was, is somebody's sacred truth our sacred truth? Is what they believe to be sacred?
Oh, is that how you heard the question?
You see, now
how I read it, like
you see?
No, I didn't at all. No,
there's the gap. How I understand it and relate to it, and is how I conceive of all of my beliefs and ability.
I didn't hear the question like that at all.
You see?
Yeah, no, I hear you. But that's
That just answers.
Yeah.
Somebody's sacred truth is in alignment with what they believe, right? So the first question goes back to what we started. Mm-hmm. What is your belief? Mm-hmm. Because it's still their truth.
Yep.
Now, will their truth transcend and transform and change as they do? Yes, if they are willing to open up that thought process.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That we still like, that's what happens right now with everybody. And then it gets into religious factors, and then it gets into cultural factors, and then it gets in between man and woman, and then becomes, children, and then because people are not listening and not hearing. Somebody's truth today could shift by the time that they go to bed if they are ready to release what is emotionally blocking them.
And it's so interesting because, and I've heard it said a couple of times, because there's a really unusual way of looking at this. When people say the word truth. Right? Now, I believe firmly that your truth is your truth. My truth is my truth. I believe
but your language is very clear.
No.
I believe that your truth is your truth.
But that's
that's the language.
I'm trying to make a point though. No, but that's no. And I don't give myself any space to judge somebody else's truth. I don't allow that. Because if that's their truth and their learned experience and how they've gotten to this place in their life, I respect that 100%, like you do.
Right.
And then then I heard on another podcast, which shall not be named because we want the subscribers. I wanted to see how long that was going to take to long.
Hidden truths.
That's a truth. It's my truth. You want my truth? It's my truth. So,
he won't listen to ours, but he's listening to others.
No, I won't. What others? There is no other podcast. What nonsense are you talking? This is the world's only podcast.
Please meet my friend Duane.
Yeah.
From Alberton.
Yes. You would never have guessed. So on this podcast, and he goes, what garbage is this? Your truth. My truth. There's only the truth. There's only the truth. And I was like, wow, dude. It's such a firm statement. And it really was said.
Right.
But and I get where he's going. He's going in terms of if you read a news article and they go, well, my truth in this and your truth in this. Well, this person said that, so I interpreted this way, so that's my truth. No. The fact of that situation was this person did that, and that's what the result was. That's truth. So but then it transcends that when we go to the place that we are going to now about your truth and my truth. And that's why it's so important to allow people their truth, but also, is there space for both of those opinions to exist?
They have to be, because your truth and my truth commingle.
Yes. So
there's a commingling because that truth came from experiences.
Yeah, that's what I say.
And beliefs. And then attachments.
Is there...
So what's the question?
But no, that's exactly it. Is there a truth?
No, there are laws.
Now we're talking. Okay.
There are laws.
Keep going.
And your truth might be whatever, but if you don't abide by the law, and I'm not talking about man-made laws, I'm talking about spiritual law. The truth is, what you believe in, you have to carry. Right. It's a vibrational frequency that you're carrying, Now, truth or not truth, you're going to experience it, and then you're going to see how that truth feels for you. But it's a vibration. It's not a bag of tricks. Mm-hmm. And the more you change, the more your truth changes. I've seen that.
That's a wonderful thing.
Many times.
That's a positive, right? Mm-hmm. It's a positive. So there's the truth, my truth, your truth, and there are laws. There's not a singular truth. There never will be a singular truth, really, right?
Yeah, people go, well, I don't believe in the law of the universe. I'm like, believe it or not, it is. It's like people say, and I've said this in the beginning, I'll reiterate it again because when you say it in different ways, people will get it. People go, I don't believe in spirituality. I'm like, okay, you are spirituality. You are the dance between you being human and you only being human because you have a spirit inside of you. Otherwise, you'd be a walking corpse.
Is that not their truth, though?
Yeah, but that's their truth. They're allowed to have their truth until a light bulb goes on.
Mm-hmm. Or if it doesn't?
Then it doesn't.
Then what?
That's their problem.
Okay.
And not their problem, that's their awareness. That's as far as that awareness was able to go. But the time of like, and that's what the time is. It's like the time of interaction and association. Okay, so, I don't believe in spirituality. I don't believe in that foo-foo stuff. No, it's not foo-foo, it's science. So I can give you foo-foo if you want, but it's the dance between who you are, how you think, how you feel, and how you act. It's your spiritual essence of spirituality is in everything. And you go, well, I don't believe in that. Okay, you're allowed to not to because you have the right and free will to choose. Mm-hmm. You are the one that's sovereign to your choices.
Yes.
But I have the right to be me.
Oh, totally.
Oh, I should... Hold on, let me say this again to myself. That's the one we have a problem with, and including myself.
Which one?
We have the right to be who we are to ourselves. Sure.
Is it? No, wait. That is amazing.
That
because
is
we
like
have the
huge.
Right. If we just take one word away. If we take one word away, we have the right in this universe to be ourselves.
Right. That's I'd love to tell you that is easy.
Oh no. Because being yourself comes with the responsibility of being yourself.
Well, you don't know that.
No, but I'm saying it does.
You get
when you
judged.
make certain...
That's such a...
Yes.
So, like you were saying, you were never criticized. Yeah, I was hugely criticized. Plus, I was brought up in a household that my dad used to put his hands on my head and
say?
My headache went away. So I never literally had a doctor.
Mm.
I wasn't like that conventional home.
Sure.
Or you had a toothache and there you put garlic cloves.
And if you don't like garlic...
And then my grandfather, this was the best. My grandfather, I had the worst earache. Okay, my grandfather peels this garlic clove, soaks it in olive oil, puts it in my ear in a cotton thing. Listen to me. Gone. Now, was it my grandfather's love for me or was it that garlic clove? I really don't care.
No,
but it works.
I'm with you.
I really don't care. The truth is that I do know that garlic does absorb all of those things. And there's a beautiful synergy between the herbs and tinctures and elixirs and all of that. So, and we don't even want to go there because what works best? The dance of what makes you feel good. That's what works.
I'm so in agreement though. When sometimes something feels good and you can overanalyze that thing and go, what felt good? Why did it feel good? I honestly sometimes go, I don't care what it is. It felt good. I don't care. I don't want to analyze it. I don't want to think about it. It had felt good. It'll happen again. I don't need to know why or where. And you're so right. In that moment, your tooth felt better. And if you were 7 years old or 8 years old, my granddad did that for me.
Yeah.
And that feels good.
I did pass it on though.
But
my children had earache, there I was.
But that's what I'm saying though. It's fantastic.
What are we putting in my ear?
Sacred. That's sacred to you.
Yeah.
That truth is sacred to you.
Right.
And just very much like if you are a young person making decisions now in your life, that is, those decisions are you being truthful to who you see yourself as, who you think you are. That's your sacred truth. And you got to try and stay as strongly aligned with that as you can, knowing though that there are responsibilities with making those decisions.
Right. And then the other thing that I want to leave you with now, right? Now we want to wrap this up and we want to leave you probably with this, is that you'll only have you in this lifetime to be. You're only going to be Duane Rockwell from Alberton in this lifetime.
One time.
That's it. One time. Yep. You'll never come back as Duane Rockwell.
No.
Sure.
Whatever. You're right.
And we spend so much time trying to be something else. And that's a wrap right there.
Oh, can I just add one thing? My dad always told me,
you're cut
I have to.
Cut him off.
I have to. My dad, and you've heard it a million times, be yourself.
Yeah.
Because everyone else is taken.
You see? There you go.
It's so true.
And that's a wrap.
And that's a wrap. Love you, Vanda.
That is good.
That was fun.
That's
that was
awesome.
Fun. That was so much fun.